how you doing this morning? We are going to be diving into the deep sea, and let me get that set up for you just really quickly here. We're going to go back to the Monterey Bay Aquarium and focus on finishing our Monterey Bay Aquarium unit about sharks. And today we have some cool topics for you because, we live in a world that's ever changing. And some of the things that we have to take into consideration in a big way is our effect, like as human beings, on the rest of the planet. And today's topic, we're going to talk a little bit about like considering the sharks. What is like the effect on the sharks and in terms of our environment and some awareness about that. So I think you're going to like this. There's a lot of creativity for you in today's lesson. I can hardly wait to jump into it. So I think we'll just go there now. If you've got questions for me, you can put it into the chat. Yeah. Other than that, let's jump into the lesson. All right. So, on our classroom website is the link, if you forgot it, to go to the Monterey Bay Aquarium. Go to the website, you can click the link, or you can go to montereybayaquarium.thinkific.com, and then from there you'll have to log in like you did before using your school account, and I will give you a chance to get yourself there while we get started with this. So we're kind of, whoops, hang on a second. My computer decided to jump around on us a little bit. Give me a second here. I'm going to change. There we go. All right. We are over here. Let me get my mouse over here for you. Yeah, there I am. All right. Let me scroll this for you a little bit. I am in kind of chapter 5, where we're talking about we can all protect sharks. So like I said, we're thinking about the environment that the sharks live in and kind of our effect on them as humans, the things that we create, the things we dump, all of that sort of thing. So we're going to take a look at this chapter right here. And we'll be starting with our video. But just to kind of walk through it a little bit, we've got a few videos, as you can see in here. And then we're going to be kind of looking at some ideas around this topic. And then in the next chapter is creating a shark story. And this is kind of, where we're going to get to today is I will be leaving you in this part of the lesson for you to create your own shark story. And then what I really want you to do is once you've got that done, I want you to share it with me, like drop it into your Google Drive and send me a share link so that I can see, what you've done. Because we have spent a lot of time learning about sharks. And I don't know if you guys you remember, let me see here. Remember this, where we talked about the 10 cool things about sharks? This is on the Monterey Bay Aquarium's website. We talked about white sharks heating up. We talked about shark mummies. We talked about sharks that are really, really deep in the ocean. We talk about the orcas and the white sharks. And we looked at their bodies, their faces, and how sensitive they are, and the sensory things that they have, like around their mouth and their gills. And we talk about how they keep the ecosystems balanced. We looked at the baby sharks. Remember this, where we talked about we're way up here, right there, where that what that is. Oh, and that's Los Angeles. We're actually higher. We're up here, right about there. And this right here, because this is the warmer waters where the baby sharks, are birthed and raised and all. They call that a nursery area. Remember all this? Kind of bringing it back to you. And we looked at the robot shark, and then we looked at those giant whale sharks. Remember that? So that, just a review, that's for you when you're creating your story. You're probably going to want to go back and have a look at that. And here's another one I wanted to share with you too. I know we did this, but National Geographic, if you go nationalgeographic.org/media/sharks, all of this, you could do a search once you get in there on sharks and shorelines. That's what it's going to be called. And we played this video for you, but there's some more information down in here. See, that may help you as you're working on your little story. So, take a look around the internet, do your research, put your story together, and then, like I said, drop it into your Google Drive and send me a link. All right, coming back. Let's get started.
Whenever I go outside, I always try to pick up trash, and that's because it's good for the environment and all the animals that live within it. And on today's dive, we're able to fill our bag with stuff that I found in the ocean. So let's take a look. Alright, we have a little bit of pipe, an old phone case, a pencil, a little shovel and glove, and of course, plastic containers. These are the number one thing I'll find out there. But how did all this stuff get out there? In this chapter, we're going to explore how all of this junk got into the world and what we can do to help prevent it.
Whether you live near the ocean like Eric or far away, you impact the ocean and the animals that live there. You also impact the wild animals that live near you. Just like the ocean is the habitat or home to marine animals like sharks, the natural spaces around you are the habitats for other animals. Whether you live in a big city or on a small farm, in a house or an apartment, there are animals that share that natural space with you. Grab your notebook and something to write with. Then, with an adult, explore the natural spaces around your neighborhood. You can take a walk to a park or a trail, a walk around your yard, or a walk around the block. If you can't get outside, that's okay. You can just look out your window. As you explore, use your notebook to write down any animals you see that live near you. Make sure to stop and look around. Look up. Look down. Look closely. Some animals might be big and easy to see. Some might be hiding or have great camouflage. You might be surprised by the animals you find. While you're exploring, you might find some trash. Use your notebook to make a tally of the types of garbage you find. Did you find plastic, paper, glass? Is there one type of trash you found a lot of? If you're with an adult and they say it's safe and you have gloves, pick up the garbage and put it where it belongs. Talk to your adult about the garbage you see. How did it get there? Where will it go when it rains? And how might it impact the animals you saw? Think about the garbage that Eric found out in the ocean. How did it get there? Well, next we're going to talk about something called a watershed and how that affects how garbage moves. After you finish your walk around your neighborhood, click Complete and Continue to learn about your watershed.
Awesome. So now you get the assignment. So let's go on to Watershed.
Earlier, Eric showed us some of the trash he found while diving in the ocean. This isn't good because sharks and other ocean animals need clean homes. So how did the trash Eric found end up in the ocean? Well, to understand that, we have to understand something called the watershed. Well, what is a watershed? Well, no matter where people live, they are in a watershed. A watershed is an area where rain, snow, and other precipitation flows from land into a waterway, like a river or a creek or a lake. Do you have any waterways like that near your home? The watershed might look different based on where you live. Whether you live in a city, close to the ocean, or even far from any body of water, you are in a watershed. When it rains or snows near you, the water carries any trash that's in the street, on sidewalks, or anywhere else on the land into these nearby waterways. From there, most waterways eventually drain into the ocean, and they carry with them any trash that washed into them along the way. The path of the water might look different based on where you live. For example, in a city, water is directed by streets, gutters, and drainage systems. This city watershed connects to the ocean, as almost all watersheds do. So whether you live close to the ocean or far away, the choices you make directly impact the ocean and the animals that live there, including sharks. So what can you do to help protect sharks and keep their homes clean? Click Complete and Continue to find out.
So let's start from here. Let's talk about lend the hand, and I'll read it to you. Even if you live far from the ocean, your actions matter. Wherever you live, you can help protect sharks, other ocean animals, and animals in your own neighborhood. Take care of your local environment. Taking care, let me get my mouse over here. Taking care of your local environment takes care of animals both near and far. One way to keep animals' homes clean is to host a cleanup of an outdoor place you'd like to go. But you guys remember what she said that in the other, well, you weren't listening to that video. Like, don't do this without gloves on. I see in this picture, like one student has gloves, the others don't. Don't touch trash without gloves on. Take care of your local environment. All right, so hosting a cleanup is easy. You can invite your friends, your families. So this is one thing you guys can do. And you also be sure to have an adult help you. If you've got a cell phone, you can download the Clean Swell app, and this app will help you track all the garbage you remove during your cleanup, and it's an easy way to make a big difference. I've never used this app, but that sounds pretty cool. I might download that and have a look at it. All right, so moving on. We got a video, and let me hop into that video for just a second.
You ever wonder where trash ends up? We put it in a trash can, but where's it go after that? A landfill? A recycling center, maybe? But not all trash makes it into a trash can. A lot of it ends up in the ocean. Some of it's dumped directly in the ocean by ships, sometimes illegally. But most of it actually starts its journey on land, sometimes far inland, from sewer to stream to river, and eventually to an ocean. And once it hits an ocean, it keeps going. If it hits the Pacific Ocean, it might end up in the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, a colossal whirlpool of sorts where trash from all over congregates. Or it could end up on some remote island. Try to find a beach where nobody's been before, and chances are trash has beaten you there. By far, the biggest category of trash is plastic. Plastic is lightweight and indestructible, two qualities that make it the perfect container. But once it's used, plastic becomes a lightweight, indestructible problem. Cigarette filters are also a common source of marine litter. You may not think they amount to much, but cigarette filters are one of the most common items found in beach cleanups. There are ways we can help. Dispose of waste properly, recycle more, and switch to reusable containers where possible. And participate in beach cleanups. Industry can do a better job designing products that use less material and don't just get used once. And the next time you're given the choice between paper or plastic, say neither. We can all help solve the trash problem by making less of it.
Now you see the dilemma we're in. Garbage moves. Garbage ends up in places where it doesn't belong. As you just read, organizing a local cleanup is a great way to help protect sharks and other ocean animals. But there's more you can do without ever leaving your house. A simple way to prevent garbage from getting in the ocean is to make less garbage from the start. Recycling is better than throwing away, but if you can find a way to reuse these items instead, that's even better. I don't know about you, but I go through lots of containers that could be used way more than just once. Use your imagination and think of ways you could reuse items that might otherwise end up in your trash or recycling bin. Here are just a couple of ideas I had. You might already be reusing some things at your house. There are so many opportunities to reuse the things that were going to be thrown away. And a lot of times, this can actually help us be more organized. Do you have a simple swap? If your grown-up is okay with it, share it with us on social media using the hashtag MBAQED. We'd love to see your ideas.
And good. It's always important to log and share what you've experienced after a dive. And now, you're about to do something similar. Throughout this course, you've been able to learn what makes sharks so special and so awesome, and we want you to share that with other people now. This can come in many forms, whether it's a cool little comic like Sherman's Lagoon by Jim Toomey, like you've been seeing throughout this course. This could be a neat little drawing or poster that you share with your friends, or even an informational video like the ones you've been seeing up here. The point is, the more people are aware of and care about sharks, the more we can protect them for years to come, and we want your help in doing that.
Okay, so it looks like I'm going to move it along here. We're looking at trash. Yeah, we're talking about the different things that end up in the ocean. And repurposing. How can you repurpose trash? All right, so you'll watch that video and then go to the notebook. So here's where you're going to do like your reflection. So your reflection is kind of like what you learned in these videos and kind of what you want to do with it. And that's what takes us into the next part. So let's look at the text. So we've learned a lot about sharks, and we've learned how, yes, they are ferocious and could take a bite out of you, but you're not what they're looking for. Remember, sharks don't even like the smell of humans. So if they bite into you, usually it's because you're wearing a wetsuit and you're all dressed in black and they think that you're a seal. So we've kind of learned that, a lot about sharks. And remember, we did that class with the folks in at the Sharks for Kids. Remember that workshop? You can go back and watch any of these things that we've done if you're having troubles like getting enough information for your paper. But just think about this and what your reaction is to sharks now. And then, you're kind of like, what could you do to make people less afraid of sharks? Not that you should be totally not afraid of them, because they will bite you, but you're not their intended target. All right, so I'm going to skip the video, and I'm going to go right to the create your own shark story. So it's time to show what you've learned by creating your own story about sharks. And this is the part I want you to do on your own. I want you to go in, I want you to do this. It'd be really cool if you made it in Google Slides and then put that into your Google Drive, and then after you're done with it, you can share it with me. It's not something you have to do like right away. It can be done over like take a couple weeks and do your research and put it together. It will count towards let's see, this will count towards your science grade. And so and you have a choice. I mean, if you don't want to do this, you want to just do your regular science homework, that's fine. But if you're looking for something a little bit different, you're welcome to do this. So here it says to first go back to your notebook, which is where you've been taking all your notes. Read through your reflections and the activities you did, and put the information together to tell a story about sharks. Now below are some ways that you can do that. So here it's saying you could make a comic if you want, which is like, you know, like a little storyboard with little boxes where you're, but that means you got to do some drawing and some words. You could create a cartoon, and they've got some different like links for you there. I kind of would like a story in Google Slides. I think that's going to be a little easier than having to learn to use these different apps, because I'm not going to take the time to teach you these apps. So for me, if you wanted to write a little story, you could do that and put it into Google Slide. But you're welcome to try these other things if you want to do that. So however you want. Make a comic, make a cartoon, make a story, make a Google Slide, make a video if you want. And when you're finished, you could share it. No, we're not going to share what you do on social media, to be honest with you. So just share that with me. All right, so if you have any questions, drop me an email. Let me come on out of here. So if you've got any questions, just drop me an email, ask me about it, or when we meet in our next class, go ahead and ask me about it. I'm so sorry that the videos didn't work for you today, but they're there for you in the Monterey Bay Aquarium link that's on our classroom website. So I'm going to leave you there and let you get to it. Unless you have any questions, you're welcome to post them. Do it really, really fast in the chat window. Get my mouse back over here. There we go. Yeah. All right, you guys. I appreciate your time this morning, and I appreciate you wanting to be part of what we did with the sharks. This is going to be our last class on sharks, and then we're on to the next adventure after this. All right, I'm going to say bye.